Your biggest competitor is not the doctor down the street. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast, brought to you by CATS Consultants and Chiro Health USA. This is the podcast that challenges how chiropractors think. We don't just share strategies, we challenge assumptions, introduce new mental models, and rethink what it takes to build a profitable, sustainable, and innovative practice. So if you're ready to question conventional wisdom and lead the next evolution of chiropractic, you're in the right place. I am your host, Dr. Michael Perusich. This is my co-host, Dr. Troy Fox. Troy, how the heck are you?
I'm good. Man, that intro right there, though, I was like, wow, I actually have to think about something, though.
I'm feeling very innovative today.
No, and the crazy thing is,
ready to go.
we get in our practices and we sit around and we get in our little box, and then we talk to other chiropractors. And what's our biggest concern? Who do we think our biggest enemy in life is? Which is unfortunate, but who do we think it is? Can you guys out there?
The doctors within a 5-mile radius of our practice.
Exactly. That's who we're the most worried. Oh my gosh, are they going to take my patient? They're not my patients. They're not your patients. They're our patients. And that isn't your biggest competitor, by the way.
That's right. That's right. And yet, what do? We're so concerned about what the doctor down the street is doing that we offer pricing that's $1 or $2 under them. And then pretty soon they drop their pricing to just $1 or $2 under you. And it's just always this big race to the bottom.
And it's so obvious. And quite frankly, your patients don't really buy into that. They can care less whether you're $1 or $2 cheaper. Every once in a while you'll come across somebody that does, but that's the minority. The majority are looking for something far different. And they've been conditioned to think about something far different.
Yes. And, we recently took on a new client who was really having some profitability issues in their practice. Mm-hmm. And when we took a look at the numbers, yes, we look at numbers. When we dove into it, what we found was they were playing that race to the bottom game, and they were offering lower and lower and lower prices. Well, pretty soon your revenue is less than your expenses and you're not covering your overhead. So we got to rethink things. I'm going to tell you one thing. Here's your jewel for the day. Your patients don't care what your prices are. Now, some of you probably just fell over in your chair because we think that, and it's not just chiropractors. In business, we often think that price is the driver of consumer sentiment, and it's not. What today's consumers want is convenience, personalization, gratification. They want an experience, and they want to know, especially with their doctors, that they're building a relationship that's not only trusted, but that the doctor knows what the emotional basis of their needs are.
And I would challenge you to ask your front desk staff, how often do people ask what your prices are? Because I would say maybe 10%. Now, I live in a very depressed socioeconomic area where there's a lot of poverty. I do have patients that will call and go, what are your prices for an exam? What are your prices for an adjustment or whatever? They'll ask what those prices are, but I would say that's 1 out of 10. The rest don't even ask.
No.
And we tell them that we tell them that we are a cash practice and that we don't, that we're not an insurance practice, and they still don't bat an eye. They're like, okay. And so if you think about that, they're not really looking at that. But what they are looking at is, like you said, the experience. What I like to do is blow their socks off on day one when they come into my practice, because I know that they're looking for something in specific. And we're going to talk about some of the specifics, but I want to blow their socks off. I'm not worried about the price, because what they're going to see is the value of what they're getting. And they're going to go, wow, this is worth more than I paid. I hear that many times when patients will walk up front and they'll be talking to my staff at the front and they'll say, it'll be blah, blah, blah today. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, I got all this value or all this. And that was all. Wow, you guys are really reasonable on price. Now, part of that's because I do live in a depressed socioeconomic area. I have to balance it, right? But
To balance it, sure.
part of it is I provide so much experience. I didn't say I'm providing more products or more services. I'm not giving it away, but the experience is one that people feel like they get a value out of.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We need to take a quick break. and hear a word from our sponsors. But when we come back, I want to talk about really who the competition is. And I want to dive into the business model of how some of your true competitors function. So we'll be right back.
Affordable care shouldn't mean undervaluing yourself, but most chiropractors are still undercharging, especially when it comes to insurance allowances and cash patients with limited coverage. Chiro Health USA helps chiropractors charge appropriately, get paid well when insurance is available, and still serve patients with no or limited benefits, all through a compliant discount medical plan. The result? Doctors stop undercharging, raise fees, and increase income by about 20% without sacrificing care. That's not a discount strategy, it's a business strategy. Learn more at chirohealthusa.com.
All right, everybody, we are back. Troy, what are we talking about? We're talking about your greatest competition is not the chiropractor down the street.
So is this where I do the drum roll? Let's tell them what the real competition is.
Well, it's companies like Netflix, Amazon, TikTok, DoorDash, Uber Eats. It's all these service-oriented, and you're a service-oriented
Oh,
business
Dr.
out there,
Perusich, you're
doctors.
full of it. You're full of it. There's no way that's my competition.
That is your competition. And we can add some others to that list.
Yeah.
Because all of those, what they represent is convenience, personalization, all those things I said in the beginning, that frictionless experience and that instant gratification. If you want dinner on the table in 30 minutes, Uber Eats, DoorDash, but you have other competition too. When it comes to experience, who else is out there giving people a great experience? Starbucks is a great example. You can go get coffee anywhere. You can get coffee almost anywhere today. But why do people go to Starbucks so often? Because that's cool. You go in and you don't just order a large coffee, you order a venti, and it just rolls off your tongue because it's new. It sounds like it's Italian or something. You go in and you get to order a purple vanilla macchiato. I don't even know what that is, but it's got a cool name to it. And then they're going to write your name on the cup. It's not just they're going to write your name on the cup. Are they going to spell it right today? Is it going to be Michael? Is it going to be Michelle? Is it going to be Marissa? Is it going to be Mary? What are they going to write on there? And then when you get it, what's the first thing you do? You smell it because their coffee smells so good. And then you go to the office, and the minute you walk in the door, what's everybody say to you? Oh my gosh, you went to Starbucks. What did you get? And did you get me one?
Right.
Because everybody loves the experience they give. So we've got to think in those same terms with our businesses.
Well, let me throw something out here too, because if you are not somebody that gives a great experience at this point, let me throw this out. When Starbucks came along, everybody in the coffee market thought they were toast in comparison. Starbucks cornered the market, right? They owned it. Every bit of it. 99.9999%. There was only 0.0001% left. Nobody was going to make any money in the coffee market, right? So nobody's ever opened a coffee shop since Starbucks, right? Oh, hold on a minute. There's new coffee shops opening up all the time, and new franchises in coffee. What did they do? They learned that they have that same model in place, but they've just tweaked it a little bit to make it unique to them. And guess what? They're like, hey, this works. We can open Caribou Coffee Shop, or we can open Scooters. I love Scooters because if you've never been to Scooters, they say through the microphone, when you order your product, scoot on around. And I just laugh every time they say that. They've got
It's hilarious.
They've got their own unique culture, and they say scoot on around. And I'm sure they hear me chuckle every time at the drive-through when I do that. But guess what? Scooters. Who would have thought in the midst of Starbucks with a stranglehold on the coffee industry and some snacks, and they were bringing in food, and they were adding more stuff, and they had thermal cups and a place to go sit and free Wi-Fi. Who could compete with that? Great. And all of a sudden, here comes Scooters and a bunch of others literally doing the same type of model, but a different twist on it. So let me tell you, as a chiropractor, just because there's a practice down the street that looks super slick right now, and they're the Starbucks of your area, doesn't mean you can't be the Scooters of your area as well. So let's talk more about what's going on with that.
And I'll give you a great example of that, Troy. Over here where I live, there's a Dunkin' coffee shop
Oh, yeah.
on this corner, and right across the street on this corner is a Starbucks.
Yeah.
That, and they're both busy as heck all day
Right.
long,
Yep.
every day. Okay. We have to stop thinking that each other is the competition. We have to start thinking, how do we improve our business model? How do we create a better experience for our patients? How do we create better longer term relationships with people? How do we personalize their care plans? And how do we make that connection for people so that they see not only the value of what we do, but they also see the convenience and the affordability of what we do.
Hey,
And
hold on.
when we say affordability, that doesn't mean cheap.
I got a
Go
question.
ahead.
Who started serving 10-cent coffee first once these guys started a race to the bottom between Starbucks and Dunkin'? Who's down to 10 cents now?
Nobody.
No. How much are they charging for a cup of coffee?
Oh gosh. And
Like
listen,
$4.
I went to Dunkin' the other day. Yeah, it was like $4.50 for just a plain coffee.
Whoa. So they have competition right across the street and they didn't lower their pricing.
Didn't lower the price.
Interesting. Those chiropractors, we need to learn from this. They created an experience. They didn't lower their prices to compete with the guy across the street.
Right.
They said, we're going to create a cool experience, something that the patient's going to, or the client's going to benefit from. We can do the same thing in our practices.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you say this all the time, sight, sound, and smell.
Yeah.
And so why do I enjoy going to Dunkin' for my coffee? Well,
Right.
it's a couple of things. First off, it's on my way to work. So
Yep.
that's easy. So it's convenient. But when I walk inside, I just love how that store looks inside.
Mhm.
Visually, it's kind of cool. Smell, I love the smell of donuts. I don't ever get one,
Right.
but I love the smell of it. And I go inside. I don't go to the drive-through. I go inside because I want the smell of the donuts.
Right.
So that's sight and sound, sight and smell.
Yeah.
And when I go in there, they have very soothing music that
Mhm.
if you're not paying attention, it's down very, very low,
Right.
but it's soothing. And it just matches the vibe of the place.
Mm.
They've hit on something. You go to Starbucks, you get the same experience. They just have a different smell. Theirs is more coffee based, which is great.
As the kids would say, vibing.
Vibing.
You go to a place that's vibing. And honestly,
vibing.
that's literally how people are looking. We have been trained that whatever we're going to do is kind of, and I'm going to use an old people term, hip and cool, right? We're vibing when we go into these places.
How old are you?
But in my office, when you walk through the front door, the first thing you're going to smell is whatever essential oil we're using that week, because we change it all the time. And you're going to see live plants. You're going to see live plants that are clean. I just talked off air to Dr. Perusich, and I said, I just dusted my plant right in the front because I hate dust on my plants. If they get just a little bit, it bugs me. And so I want everything to look good when people walk in. We have a bright and cheery front to our office. This smell is going to be essential oils for us. You go some places. You and I went to a Ritz-Carlton in Louisiana, in New Orleans, to where when you walked into the bathroom, it smelled like banana bread. And I know that sounds weird, but we all had to go into the bathroom to smell the fresh banana bread. That was their smell. And honestly, I thought I wasn't going to like it. It smelled really good, but our smell is essential oils, and the sound is what we play. We're either playing jazz music or we play a lot of faith-based music. We do a lot of K-Love in our office, that sort of thing. We want to make sure that it's music that is going to appeal to the masses. It's positive, uplifting. That's what K-Love is, right?
Or encouraging.
Yeah. Or something with jazz, which I like jazz music as well, because it just fits all genres. There's nobody that goes, oh, jazz music. If I were playing death metal, that would be, some people would be like, oh my gosh, I can't listen to that. But nobody goes, oh, I can't listen to jazz. So we want to create an environment that is inviting. And
Exactly.
that's the first thing that you can do in your practice. The easiest thing you could do today is walk out and stand at the front door of your office, look inside. What do you see? Are there a bunch of dead plants? Is there dust everywhere? Is the carpet dirty? What do you got?
Right.
Look at
Right.
it, smell it.
We,
Oldie,
we, Exactly. We need to take another quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk about what are some action steps and strategies that these docs can do out there to improve their competitive edge. So, quick break. We'll be right back.
Patient numbers dipping, staff overwhelmed, and another marketing idea promising the world but delivering nothing. These pressures feel familiar to nearly every chiropractic clinic today. Across the country, chiropractors work hard, yet many find themselves stuck, balancing patient care with the nonstop demands of running a business. That's where the real strain begins. Most clinics face the same set of hurdles: inconsistent new patient flow, operational bottlenecks, and the constant challenge of staying visible in an overcrowded digital space. National reports show that over 60% of clinics struggle with scheduling efficiency alone, and even more lack a clear marketing strategy that reliably converts. But the good news? These challenges aren't roadblocks, they're signals. With the right procedures, smarter outreach, and guidance built specifically for chiropractic practices, clinics can turn daily stress into sustainable growth. Stronger clinics start with smarter strategies. Grow your practice with confidence. Book your strategy session with CATS Consultants.
Okay, everybody, we are back. We're talking about who your greatest competitor is, and it's not the chiropractor down the street. In some ways, I think our greatest competitor is ourselves, because we tend to shoot ourselves in the foot by constantly adjusting our pricing downward. Netflix is the great example of this. Has Netflix lowered their prices or raised?
They have raised them consistently. They've never lowered them.
Exactly, consistently. Now they're putting the screws to everybody that you can only have so many people on your account. Now you can only have so many locations. YouTube TV, same thing. You cannot be in another city for very long before they'll cut you off because they geo-track you. So we got to think differently in this profession. We've got to get innovative with our profession, And I'll give you a great example of a company that wasn't innovative and they're no longer around. They used to rent videos. Remember Blockbuster?
Yeah, how about that? Where did they
Here today, gone tomorrow. And you know what? They saw the streaming platforms, the streaming apps coming, and they chose to ignore it. Are we ignoring the next advancement, the next innovations in practice? We aren't here at CATS Consultants because we're constantly working on innovation for our clients. But you've got to start thinking about your competitive edge. And Troy, you mentioned a couple of things before this last break to make your competitive edge a little sharper. When was the last time you walked in the front door and looked at your clinic like patients do? Sight, sound, and smell. What do those three things do in your clinic? Walk around the clinic. Is it dusty in the corners? Are you vacuuming? Do you have dead plants? Do you have dust on your plants like Troy mentioned? Is the carpet getting worn out in places? Do you need paint on the wall? Chairs do a horrible number on the walls in clinics.
Yep.
When was the last time you painted? When was the last time you moved your pictures around? So I was talking to an office about a month ago, and they said that they feel like patients get bored in their office. Well, I'm here to tell you, chiropractic is pretty boring. If all patients do is walk in, lay face down on the table, they have no idea what you're doing. They get up, they leave, they forget why they're coming in. Well, I told them to do one simple thing besides change their table talk. One simple thing. In every room of the clinic, swap pictures around.
Yeah.
Just take one picture out of one room and put it in another room, and take that picture and put it back in the room you took the first picture out of. You'll be amazed what that does to your patients. And what are we doing? We're hitting on sight.
Yeah. And it's psychological when you do that, because then all of a sudden they're going, "Oh, this is different," because they don't realize, they just realize something's different. They don't realize why. They're like, "I think I've seen that poster before, but and then they don't realize that it's been moved. Then they start looking around at everything else. Exactly. There. And then, so I have one of those old giganto view boxes that looks like I was an orthopedic surgeon back in 1980. It's wider than my arms go. That really, you can put dry white markers and stuff. It's like a little chalkboard, right? So we've moved everything today, and we're doing a little Christmas in July, like 10% discount on nutrition. We put that up on the wall at the same time. So people are going to walk in and their visual is a little bit jacked up now because everything's moved. So they're going to start looking around. They're immediately going to zone in on that because 10% discount Christmas in July. We did that and we moved the pictures at this time to specifically psychologically draw them to what we're doing. There's just little shrimp you can use like that to get people's attention.
Yep. Yep. And think about the services that you offer. Are you recommending them? Are patients understanding the why behind them? Why is it being made part of your treatment plan? Are you bundling things together so that patients get super confused about what they're paying for? Don't do that. I hate that. One of my big pet peeves.
Hey, and is your staff knowledgeable about the things that you're offering? You may need to spend some time with your staff because if they're not able to articulate a treatment to a patient and they say, well, I don't know, I'm going to have to ask the doctor every time somebody goes, would dry needling be good for the spasm in my shoulder? I don't know. I'll have to ask the doctor. What you want to hear from that staff member is certainly that sounds like something that chiropractic care or dry needling could help. We'll have to let the doctor make a determination on that. But I think you're on the right track with what you're doing. It sounds like things, we've used that before on a shoulder condition. So you want your staff to be knowledgeable enough to tell patients confidently the answer to the question, even if it's the wrong answer. If they're confident, like, hey, I agree with you. I think that's right. But let's let the doctor make the final decision. It sounds a lot better than, I don't know, let me ask the doctor.
Exactly. Another big pet peeve of mine is when I call an office. So with new clients, we often call the office and do a couple of things. One, we ask what techniques the doctor uses. And we almost always get, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's the wrong answer. They should know. Or we'll ask, what services does your clinic offer? Oh, well, we do chiropractic adjustments. Do you have anything else? Yeah, we have like this little vibrating thing. And no, that's the wrong answer.
Right.
So your staff needs to know not only what services you offer, what techniques you offer, but what things you treat with chiropractic care. Another favorite question that we call up offices with is, does your doctor work on shoulders, hips, knees?
Right.
Well, no, I think all we do is low back issues. Wrong answer. No, educate your staff, people, because that is destroying your competitive edge if you're not.
And here's one way you can do that. Here's a little caveat. If you're not doing staff meetings, you should be doing staff meetings. You should be doing them regularly. And you should be talking about things like this, like mock phone calls. Hey, Marcy, we're going to do a mock phone call today with you. I'm going to be the patient and call in, and I'm going to ask a couple of questions. Or you do what we do, we actually call. But if you're working with staff, you can mock up some situations and say, here's how I'd handle this. And as the doctor, I can say, here's the answer I'd like to hear from you. That's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do in your staff meetings is the little game that Dr. Perusich invented, and it's called What Sucks Around Here. And you set and you look around the office and you go, what's not working in our office? What's not efficient for our patients? In other words, our patients want a streamlined turnkey process, right? And we want to operate like the big boys, like Netflix and Starbucks and all that. For us to do that, getting our staff involved, because sometimes you're back in the adjusting room adjusting and you're not out there watching your clunky procedures not work. The staff tell you this procedure's clunky. We need to streamline this. It needs to be patient.
And we can go on and on here, folks.
Oh yeah.
There are so many little bitty components to your competitive edge, but we've got to get it out of our mind that the other doctors in your area are your competition. That's not your competition. Your competition really is you. And we've got to change our mindset, and we've got to get our business model under control, and we've got to be innovative. And if you need help being innovative, I know I'm biased, but I think CATS Consultants offers some of the most innovative practice management tools known to man. And we're constantly evolving those so that we keep ahead of the industry, not behind, ahead. So if you need help with your practice, whether it's profitability, innovative modeling tools, you want to go cash, whatever it is, the only thing we don't do is come treat your patients or bail you out of an audit. So go check out catsconsultants.com. We've got a bunch of free tools on there. Get to know what we do, get to understand what we do to help doctors rebuild their profitability and regain their lives. So check us out. Troy, anything to add here at the end?
No, I think we're great. And I think this gives you guys a lot of stuff to start doing in your office today. Just sight, smell, sound is a good start. Try starting
Exactly.
there.
Exactly. All right, everybody, we're going to check out here. So on behalf of all of us at CATS Consultants and Chiro Health USA, we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.